What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some DD2. And this is the very first ever defense showdown, and with the newly buffed PDTs, I don't see how I could resist number one being the Poison Dart Tower versus the Archer. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, in my PDT Toxic Shock Hero Spotlight from yesterday, I believe, talked about all the goodness with the Poison Dart Towers, and wanted to take a look today at how well the Poison Dart Tower works with other towers versus the Archers, which we already know the power of the Archers, and we're just discovering the power of the PDT and exactly what it can do. So let's go ahead and get things started and build a nice little PDT setup here. And then let's just go over to, say, this dummy and put down an Archer right here. Now I'm going to have to make sure... I don't want him to be shooting the same tower. Let's see, hopefully the backside of this Archer isn't going to get up on that tower. Oh, it is. Darn it. Alright. Guess we're going to have to go, say, this way. Instead, let's just go right here on this little ledge here. And that's going to pretty much guarantee that that one's just going to fire into the one. There we go. Alright, so Archer's away, PDT's ablazing, and as we know, the Poison Dart Tower can rip out some nice DPS. With my setup, I get up to the 145,000, 148,000 range. And with my Archers, I'm in between 26,000 and 40,000. So when you look at this, you see, oh my gosh, the Poison Dart Tower is just absolutely insane. It's ripping off massive numbers versus the Archers, and we already know the Archers are pretty OP. However, let's look into it a little bit further. Now, how many times are you going to have one defense versus one target in a lane? Well, you're almost never going to have just one defense in a lane. Now, sometimes there will only be one target, of course, but you're never going to have just one defense going in a lane. So let's go ahead and get another PDT going here. So we know we're ripping off the, what happened there? 175,000. I think my Archer explosion may be getting over here. Or I think that was just a fluke. Anyway, let's go ahead and get another PDT laid down, firing into hopefully the same target as this other PDT. And they are. Yes? Yeah. So, okay, so we went from 145,000, and let's see what it gets up to. Now you think, holy crap, there's two PDTs down there, and we've got, like, practically no increase at all. And here's why. The heart of the Poison Dart Tower and the bulk of the damage itself it puts out is not coming from the individual dart projectiles. Let's go ahead and get these guys upgraded all the way so we get a little fully buffed comparison here. Now, as I was saying, the damage itself, the bulk of the damage is coming from the poison. Now, this Poison Dart Tower and this Poison Dart Tower are both shooting the same type of poison. So there's not going to be two separate stacks of poison going on there, and you're not going to get a ridiculously massive... You're not going to double your DPS. So the problem here being is, if you say have two Poison Dart Towers in a lane, and a pack of mobs is coming down, and the Poison Dart Towers are shooting at two separate mobs, no problem. However, every shot that the PDTs take into the same mob is pretty much a wasted shot from one of your towers, and that, of course, is no good. Now, when we look at the Archer over here, of course, we know the Archer is ripping off between 26 and 40,000. Now, if I throw down a second Archer, see where I can get him here. Yeah, right about there will work. And let's see what happens. See, now we see our DPS is already climbing. We're up to 67,000, 80,000. basically we have doubled the DPS, which we should have. We've got 2 towers now, we should be doing twice as much damage. Meanwhile, we look back over to the PDT here. They're fully upgraded now and doing a little bit more. However, the 2 PDTs are doing just barely more than just one by itself, where the archers' DPS has been doubled. Now, of course, this isn't taken into consideration that the archers are shooting out the backside as well, where it's double in the output with proper placement. But let's go ahead and take this another step further and say, okay, well, you know, when I set up a lane, I'm going to fully beast mode it out. So I'm going to have my defenses sitting there, I'm going to have some boost auras, plus I'm going to have a buff beam. So let's go ahead and get this thing completely juiced up. Let's throw a boost right here. And then, where's Mr. EV? There he is. And let's get a buff beam going. Right here as well. Now you'd think, okay, now we're really turning it on, so we should be able to just pick up massive amounts of DPS here. Now, both of these are fully upgraded, of course. The boost and the buff is not. And let's see where we're at now. Once again, we got just a small increase. Not substantial at all. And getting back to here's why. Now, one of the big aspects of the buff beam is not only the increased damage output, but it increases the attack speed of the tower itself. Now, once your poison is fully stacked onto a target, the attack speed of the PDTs no longer matter. So we're getting very little benefit from having that buff beam and that boost star there. Now, if we come back over and do the same thing with the archers, let's get a buff beam, just say right there, and then we'll get a little boost action as well. And now let's see what our archers are doing. 99,000, 85. So it looks like we're between 85,000 and 113,000. So we're already, with the exact same amount of DU spent, starting to catch up to the PDTs. Now remember though, these PDTs are fully upgraded. So let's go ahead and upgrade the archers as well. And now we start to actually see a pretty sizable difference, because the archers have very nice scaling with defense power. They have very nice scaling with upgrades, and they have nice scaling from the buff beam, plus they have the benefit of now hitting once a second instead of 1.25 times, or every 1.25 seconds, pardon me. I'll get it out, I promise. Now we see a little bit of ridiculousness. See, now we're at the 300,000 mark with the archers, and yet we're still sitting at the 190,000 mark with the PDTs. So, long story short, I still think that the archers are a superior tower to the poison dart towers overall. However, obviously, poison dart towers are cool as hell, they're still going to get some play, and they definitely have a benefit. I think to truly maximize a PDT setup, and to fully utilize the benefit of the archers, the best thing you could do... Oops. Let me get that buff beam laid back down. Anyway, in my opinion, the best thing that you could do is, in a lane, say have archer, another archer, and let's see if I can get it in there. And a PDT in the mix. Now, if we stack the archers and the PDT, is the archer getting the buff beam? Looks like it is. And get this bad boy fully upgraded. Let's do that too. Now we're going to start to see some really nice damage numbers. Now remember, this is coming from 3 towers. We're almost at 500,000. Oh, there's a 500,000 mark right there, which that obviously is going to burn, just burn an ogre down in absolutely no time. And you're really maximizing the benefits of each defense type. So in whole, I think 1 tower versus 1 target, the PDT is definitely where it's at. Multiple towers versus 1 target, the archers are going to completely blow it away. And then you could find, obviously, a very, very happy medium if you use them all. So there is the very first look at the archer versus the poison dart tower. So thank you for watching. Let me know what matchups you want to see in the future. I think this would be a fun idea to play around with, and I'd like to continue this series along. Thanks again. We'll see ya.